Hello, and welcome to another edition of Automated.af's 5-Minute Automations. The purpose of these videos is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at some of the automations that you can set up within your business and implement them to improve the efficiencies. I'm Mark, and today we're going to be looking at re-engaging with our list subscribers. Now, there's many reasons why you may want to do this. First of all, it can increase the click and open rates on your emails. It can also reduce the amount of bounces that you get because you're making sure that your lists are most up to date. And it also can help you segment who your most engaged subscribers are versus those that aren't engaged. And not everybody's going to be interested in buying from you. People may have signed up because they liked the ebook that you had or the piece of content or webinar that you ran 5 months ago, but they're not the right person to buy from you. And you don't really want to be sending them emails all the time. They're just going to get bored, and sometimes they'll unsubscribe and mark you as spam, and we want to try and avoid that. We're starting this journey with a list trigger. Now, these could be your subscribers for the newsletter. Once they're on this list, the journey is then triggered and the first email is sent to them. Now, we haven't configured these just for this example, but once this email is sent, there is a delay of 7 days. So if once they've opened it, there'll be a 7-day delay. Now, it doesn't have to be 7 days. You'll know your industry and your market better than us. This is just for example purposes. After that 7 days, a second email is sent, which then triggers another delay of 7 days. And if they've opened that email, they receive a third email. Now, what you'd want to do is make sure that you're collecting who has opened these emails versus who hasn't engaged with those emails. So what you would do is set up a smart segment or list, depending on the marketing automation tool. Within Autopilot, we're using smart segments, and the smart segments would mean if they have opened these 3 emails, then update a field within their contact record. In our case, we'll update it to be subscriber status equals highly engaged because we know they've opened the 3 emails. Now, if they weren't on that segment, which means that they aren't engaged or they're not engaged, they haven't engaged at all, depending on the criteria of your segment, you can then send them a final email which attempts to get them to re-engage with you. Now, I'm going to click on this just to show you an example of what this email could look like. Now that the email has opened, you can see that it's in a plain text format to make it appear like it's not part of an automation. It uses personalization in the subject line and throughout the message as well. Now, if you didn't have information such as their title, you could use something else, some other information that you have, or you could just not worry about personalizing this bit. But you should ask them a question because the idea is that you want them to reply to you and make sure that your from email comes back to an inbox that you can actually reply. This is just an example, as I said, and really what you should focus on is asking a question in order to get them to reply to you. I mentioned earlier that this can be achieved in pretty much any automation platform, and most of them out there will allow you to do this. Here we're looking at user.com, which is another great and powerful automation platform for marketing. And you can see that the journey looks pretty similar. We've got emails, a list trigger, emails being sent, a delay, send an email, delay, and then on open, you can add a tag like updating a field and add this person to a list. So depending on the platform you use, you'll need to do a bit of list deduplication. So you may have to set up a segment to say, send an email to everybody who is not on this list. In the case with user.com, we would create a list called highly engaged, and then we'd want to send that final engagement email to everybody who is not on that list. So it's pretty much using an if this then that sort of formula to the process to decide who to send those emails out to. So that brings us to the end of this 5-minute automation. If you successfully re-engage your lists and clean them, you'll be making sure that you're sending emails to those who actively want to receive information from you. You should receive better open and click-through rates, fewer spam complaints, fewer bounces, a reduced cost to your marketing because you're removing a number of leads and prospects out of your database, and effectively you'll have better reporting. If you have any questions about re-engaging your email lists, feel free to reach out to us at team@automated.af. Until the next time.